This is INBrief with Catherine Evans, founder and head of legal at Kit Legal. Catherine, first of all, thank you very much for attending and participating in the Inside Network's Investment Leaders Forum Noosa 2026.
Thanks so much for having me, James. It's been awesome so far.
It's a great pleasure. Catherine, advice is going through a period of one of its regular periods of structural change. What matters most for advisors in the current compliance and regulatory arena in terms of changes that are coming through?
If there's anything we've learned, it's that it's always changing in this space. And so having that mindset of being a firm that's adaptive to change, looking out what's next, putting clients first, I think puts everyone in a really good stead. Unfortunately, what we have been waiting for is a reduction of red tape in the advice document space. But with First Guardian and Shield, I think the chances of that happening have been reducing a lot. At the same time, we've seen ASIC looking into managed accounts, and they've got a project on foot at the moment. So that's just highlighting the best interest duties requirements. And of course, profitability, efficiency is critical for firms, but putting best interest first for clients is always front and centre.
And Catherine, there's moves on the anti-money laundering front from the government with legislation that will potentially bring more entities under the scope of those regulations than perhaps those entities even think or know of.
That is certainly the case. So all existing entities have to have their new compliance arrangements in place by the 31st of March. And then from 1st of July, there's a whole range of new entities that are going to be regulated by AUSTRAC. That includes accountants, lawyers, but also a number of financial services businesses that act as a corporate authorised representative of a dealer group, for instance. If they're providing these additional designated services, that will draw them into direct regulation by AUSTRAC for the first time.
For advisors on the ground, how should they be thinking of these changes commercially as well as legally?
Always thinking through the most efficient way to implement these requirements is critical. So you can do things yourself, but getting the right support in place is really important, and knowing what all of your options are will help you in the long run to make engaging with your clients. We don't want this to be a burdensome process for clients. We want clients to be able to be onboarded and dealt with in a really streamlined way so that advisors can get on and do what they want to do with clients and not get caught up in all of this paperwork. But understanding the regime and getting the right support in place will enable them to do that.
Let's give the government and the regulators some credit and let's assume hypothetically that this reform lands in the right way, just as intended. In that case, Catherine, what do you see as some of the really good opportunities for advice businesses that have got their ducks in a row?
Definitely. So we know the reform's coming. While there are a few grey areas as to how different designated services apply, we do know that they will apply. And so I think for advice firms that really put that customer experience first, there will be a competitive advantage. So not asking clients for things they don't need to provide, being able to reduce any duplication, being able to share customer due diligence with other entities in your integrated group, for instance, and not frustrating your clients is going to be a really important factor.
Catherine, with your experience, the breadth of it across not just the legal world, but also in the broader wealth and advice and investment community, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given on leadership?
The best piece of advice I've ever had is to listen to the quiet person in the room. And there's a lot of people talking about a lot of stuff. It's hard to hear through all of that noise, but I think listening to that wisdom, someone that maybe doesn't shout it out and can speak quietly, say the right things at the right time, is definitely something that I have taken on board.
Catherine Evans of Kit Legal, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks, James.